The purpose of this video is to explain how to use the PrepStation software to enter specimen, cassette, and VITEK 2 identification and/or antimicrobial susceptibility test card information for testing on the VITEK 2 instrument. Depending on your laboratory workflow, this information can be entered before card setup, concurrently with card setup, or after card setup. At the end of this video, you should be able to enter specimen, cassette, and VITEK 2 ID and/or AST test card information using the PrepStation software connected to a cassette docking station. Required materials: a computer with VITEK PrepStation software, a monitor, a keyboard and mouse, a barcode scanner, a cassette docking station, also referred to as the VITEK MS PrepStation hardware, a VITEK 2 cassette with button memory module, and VITEK 2 test cards. The VITEK MS PrepStation software with a connected cassette docking station can be used to link specimen information to VITEK 2 test cards. This information is then transferred via the cassette memory button to the VITEK 2 system. The VITEK MS PrepStation software with cassette docking station is used in place of the smart carrier station. If necessary, log into Windows on the PC by pressing Ctrl-Alt-Delete on the keyboard. Enter a Windows username and password. On the Windows desktop, double-click the VITEK MS PrepStation icon to launch the software. Log in to the PrepStation software by entering a Mila username and password with VITEK MS privileges. This username should have also been previously created in the VITEK 2 PC. The sample preparation screen displays by default. General specimen information, in this case the lab ID, is entered at the top of the screen. The VITEK 2 test card information is entered on the right side of the screen. Place a VITEK 2 cassette on the cassette docking station. This activates the VITEK 2 workspace so data can be entered. Depending on the PrepStation software erase cassette configuration, automatic or confirm, a message may display asking if the previous data should be erased. Click Cancel to see a summary of the information stored on the memory module, or OK to erase. Always erase an empty cassette before reusing it on the VITEK MS PrepStation so that any data stored in the cassette memory is deleted. Near the top of the screen, in the Lab ID field, scan the accession number barcode on the culture plate with the barcode reader or enter the number using the keyboard. Only fields that are highlighted in yellow are active and will allow data entry. If necessary, change the isolate number in the isolate field. The organism type is not required for VITEK 2 testing. Next, we will add card and additional isolate information on the right side of the display. Note that the VITEK 2 Job Aid card cannot be scanned using the PrepStation scanner. In the card type field, scan or type the barcode from a VITEK 2 test card. Note that the VITEK 2 MS PrepStation software does not allow expired cards to be entered. Once a valid card barcode is entered, the card type is displayed. If the AST card type is not recognized, the software automatically displays the Flex Panel window where the user can add the card type. To add the new AST card type, scan the first two barcodes from the card package insert and click Save. Also note that at the bottom of the VITEK 2 workspace, the software updates a cassette graphic with information as it is validated. The cassette slots currently having data entered are highlighted yellow. After validation, the cassette graphic displays a circle when data has been assigned to a cassette slot. A blue circle indicates that the test card in the slot requires an organism suspension. A white circle indicates that the test card in the slot requires an empty tube. Empty tubes are used for AST cards when the software is configured to automatic dilution mode. The VITEK 2 cassette graphic also displays a code for the card type above the circle. The codes are shown in the table. When setting up an ID card only, after the card is scanned, place it in the slot directly behind the inoculum tube. Do not enter an organism ID since that will be determined by the test card. If running an ANC ID card, enter the offline test results for gram stain, aerotolerance, and morphology. Quantity is not required and not used by most labs. Once all data is entered, the information must be either validated or canceled. Click the Validate button on the far right side of the screen to accept the information. Alternately, the F4 key on the keyboard can be pressed, or the Enter key can be pressed twice to validate the isolate. To reject the sample information, click the Cancel button or press Shift F4. Confirm by clicking Yes. Then enter the correct information and click the Validate button. When setting up an AST card only, if the VITEK 2 configuration dilution mode option is set to automatic, so the VITEK 2 instrument prepares the susceptibility dilution, when the AST card is scanned, the software highlights a second cassette slot indicating this is where the AST card should be placed. The inoculum tube will be placed in the first position and the AST card in the position immediately to the right. A gram-negative inoculum can be used with either 1 or 2 susceptibility test cards. When running 2 AST tests and extension panel, the test cards must occupy the 2 slots immediately following the slot containing the inoculum test tube. After scanning the first test card barcode, enter the organism ID determined from offline testing. Do not enter an organism name if a VITEK MS slide will be tested for the isolate. To add the second card, click the Add Card button. Scan the extension card barcode. It will link with the lab ID in the first card so all results report together. If setting up an AST gram-positive test card, which requires a beta-lactamase result, use the offline test field to enter the result from the drop-down menu. Quantity is not required and not used by most labs. Once all data is entered, the information must either be validated or canceled. Click the Validate button on the far right side of the screen to accept the information. Alternately, the F4 key on the keyboard can be pressed, or the Enter key can be pressed twice to validate the isolate. To reject the sample information, click the Cancel button or press Shift F4. Confirm by clicking Yes. Then re-enter the correct information and click the Validate button. If an ID and AST pair are set up on the same isolate, after scanning the ID card first, place it directly behind the inoculum tube. Do not enter an organism ID since that will be determined by the test card. Click the Add Card button and scan the AST card. Place it in the next available slot. Do not enter an organism ID since that will be determined by the test card. If using an AST gram-positive test card which requires a beta-lactamase result, use the offline test field to enter the result from the drop-down menu. Once all data is entered, the information must either be validated or canceled. Click the Validate button on the far right side of the screen to accept the information. Alternately, the F4 key on the keyboard can be pressed, or the Enter key can be pressed twice to validate the isolate. To reject the sample information, click the Cancel button or press Shift F4. Confirm by clicking Yes. Then re-enter the correct information and click the Validate button. Additional function buttons are located on the right side of the VITEK 2 workspace. After validation, if a data entry error needs to be corrected, click the Erase Card button and then OK to confirm. The correct data can then be entered. To erase all cassette information, click the Erase Cassette button and then OK to confirm. We have already demonstrated the use of the Add Card button when testing more than one card on an isolate. Continue adding specimen and test card information for each isolate to be tested. Once complete, it is good practice to verify cassette information prior to loading a cassette on the VITEK 2. Open the Cassette Summary work area by clicking the Summary button. To return to the data entry screen, click the Summary button again. Note: refer to VITEK 2 Product Information Manual for VITEK 2 test card setup procedures. Once all inoculums are prepared and placed in the cassette, and all data has been entered and verified, remove the cassette from the docking station and load it on the VITEK 2 instrument. Summary: log into Windows on the PC. Log into the PrepStation software. Place a VITEK 2 cassette on the cassette docking station. Erase any previous information from the cassette. Enter the lab ID and isolate number. Organism type is not required for VITEK 2 testing. In the card type field, scan or type the barcode from the VITEK 2 card. Enter organism ID, offline test, and quantity as appropriate. Use the Add Card button to link all cards to be tested for the isolate. Once all information is added, click Validate. Repeat steps 5 through 9 for each isolate. Click the Summary button to verify all information on the cassette is correct. Remove the cassette from the cassette docking station and load on the VITEK 2 instrument.